Zhenya, and this is Zhenya's kitchen, and it's really early in the morning. So today we're going to make breakfast. One of the very first things I learned to make as a little kid was omelets, and it's not your traditional omelet like you used to be served in a restaurant, things that are flipped or folded. I'm going to show you how I learned to make omelet as a child, and I'll actually even tell you a story how I started to cook. So let's start chopping some toppings, or for me they are the inside ingredients. The first ingredient I'm going to prep is mushrooms. I have 5 gorgeous big mushrooms here and I already washed them. So I'm just gonna slice them in semi-thin slivers. Whoops. And that's it. That's gonna be good. They're gonna cook really nicely. So when I was about 8 years old, I'm gonna tell you a story how I started cooking. I was 8 years old, and my mom went in the hospital because she had kidney stones, and I was left alone with my father for a weekend until my grandma got there. So for the whole weekend, all we ate was eggs and nothing else, because that's the only thing you could make, and they were hard-boiled or soft-boiled, and that's it. And and sandwiches with cheese. And this is when I remember going to sleep kind of still hungry, thinking, I wish I knew how to cook. And that's when I started paying attention how my mom and my grandmas cooked. And I started asking questions. And about a couple of years later, I got my first cooking book. And the first thing I ever made was the omelette. It was a little bit different than this one, but a lot less ingredients, that's for sure. So I got all the mushrooms sliced. I'm gonna put them in my bowl. My next ingredient is I have Russian kielbasa. You can use sausage, you can use bacon, you can use ham, you can use anything you want. This is just about 3 inches of it, so not a lot. So if you have bacon, I would do 3 slices. If you have ham, depending on how big it is, I wouldn't use too much. Depending on how much meat you like, you can always use all the meat you have in the house too. You can use leftover chicken, so I'm just using this. You can use leftover pork chop, anything you've got. And if you're vegetarian or you don't want to eat meat for breakfast, you can just go without. So I'm almost done with this chopping. There we go. It's gonna be yummy. Right. And watch your fingers every time you chop. So my next ingredient is going to be green onion. I have some lovely green onions here from the market. I'm gonna take the dead one off and I'm gonna wash it. The other side too. So now I'm going to take the dead ends off and the butt off. And I'm just gonna thinly slice it. So you can use regular onion if you want. I like the green onion. I also don't want to cut up a whole onion when I'm only gonna use probably like half. There's no point for me to do it right now. I don't have any smaller onions in the house. And green onion always is so delicious and actually becomes really sweet when you cook it. So it's really good. To me, it's not just a garnish, it's an actual filling. And the last thing I have is leftover hard-boiled potato. So I'm going to cut it in cubes, and I'm not going to put it in the mixture because I am going to start cooking it first because I want it a little bit crispy. And if I put it with everything else, well, mushrooms will give all the juices. It's not going to get as crispy, but if I crisp them up a little bit first, I will kind of keep it that way, even with mushrooms going in next. And you can always take this out and then put them back in right before you put the egg in. I'm just doing cubes here. This is it. The toppings are done. I'm gonna come back to you in a second and we're gonna whip the egg together and then we're gonna start cooking. Our next ingredient is the egg mixture. So we have this gorgeous 4 eggs in here, and look how beautiful they were, and they are. These eggs I got from my friend Dasha and Svitlana. Thank you so much. Your chickens are amazing. Your eggs are so delicious. The homegrown chickens, the homegrown eggs, they taste so delicious. As my friend Ellen said, they taste creamy. I don't know, I think they just taste incredible. We're gonna add about a splash of milk, so about like a tablespoon to tablespoon and a half. About a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can always add a little bit more pepper later. I know a lot of people do. I don't like it too peppery. And we're just gonna whisk it. That's it. I'm gonna meet you at the frying pan. I'm gonna start with potatoes. So the pan is in about medium high. I put some olive oil in it, and we're gonna start with potatoes, like I said. And they're going to sizzle. And now I'm gonna cook them for a few minutes until they get golden brown. I'll come back to you just when they are nicely browned, and we're gonna mix them a couple times so they're gonna be cooked all over the place. After about 5 minutes of cooking, the potatoes are looking a lot more golden. We're gonna put a little bit of salt, just a pinch, and a teeny bit of pepper. And now we're gonna take all our ingredients here and dump them out. So the heat is gonna stay at medium high, so the mushrooms don't have as much chance to release all that liquid. So they hopefully will almost fry versus saute. We're gonna do our best. That way our potatoes will keep this crisp on. So give me a few more minutes, and probably another pinch of salt won't hurt. After a couple more minutes of cooking, and you might want to check on your olive oil. I end up adding about another tablespoon of olive oil in here because the mushrooms absorb the oil. So everything looks really cooked, and I kind of moved it around so it's covered the whole pan. So now we're going to put in our gorgeous eggs. Everything to the last drop. Those chickens were not sitting on those eggs for nothing. Yummy. Alright. Now I'm going to take cheese, any shredded cheese you have, any shredded cheese you like, and just put a lot of it on the top. I like cheese. So just anything you like. You can use feta. So another thing. At this point, I added ingredients I wanted. You can do anything you want. You can do totally vegetarian. If you have spinach, put spinach in it. If you want to put the real onions, the peppers, anything you'd like. And my last step, I'm going to take the heat to the medium from medium high and cover it with a lid. And I'm going to let it cook until the top is cooked. This is it. This is how I cook this omelet. I'm going to come back to you for the most amazing, eggy, full of delicious ingredients taste test. After 4 minutes under the dome, our omelet is ready. It looks delicious and cheesy. And here comes the unusual part for probably all you guys except me, because that's how I did all my life. I'm gonna cut it almost like a pizza in quarters. That's how I always did my omelets. Comes the quarter. Oh, that was so good. Ooh, this was hot. Right, you ready? We got, I think, everything in this bag. I see the onion, I see the potato, maybe not the mushroom. Let's get a piece of mushroom in it. There it goes. Hot. Woo! Be very careful. Potato holds the heat longer than everybody else. Perfect amount of salt, that's for sure. The kielbasa, nice and cooked, has a little bit of one crispy edge, which was nicely flavorful. The mushrooms are soft and tasty. The onion is sweet. The potato had the crispy edges just like I wanted, and it stayed crispy. The egg is just delicious. I mean, come on, those chickens are just rocking it out. And then you have that creaminess of the cheese. This is a perfect omelet. This is how I grew up making them. This is how my mom uses the omelets now, and Eric is too. This is delicious. This is really good breakfast. I'm Zhenya, this is Zhenya's Kitchen, and this is my take on an omelette.